How's it going? Welcome back to Leicester City Down Under. Just going to bring in Chris and Kate. How you guys going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm
Chris is
not
dying.
well. I'm not well. Have sympathy on me.
I've brought Chris on here against his will with man flu, guys. What an absolute bastard I am.
Yep. No,
How are you all
pleasure to be
feeling?
here, as always.
Well, I'm
Kate?
feeling all right. We're nearly at Friday, which means it's nearly match day again. I think I've had a better week than Chris probably has, to be honest.
Well, I've been in bed all week, so it depends what you've been up to.
Well, you've been feeling ropey.
Sorry?
You've been feeling ropey.
Just a little bit. Just a tad, yes.
So, guys, Enzo out, hey? He's absolutely rubbish. This football's boring. 5-0. I don't know. We needed Sensi.
Well, I was on a preview before, and that was the first question that the host asked me. It was a Watford preview, but he asked me about, why are some fans unhappy? And every club's got them, haven't they? There's a small clump of people that are totally unhappy whatever you do. You win the league and cup double, and they say, no, we should have won the League Cup as well. There's always, they've got to have something to moan about. And yes, I get frustrated, and I get frustrated when I watch the game and I see it being passed around the back, and we nearly concede or we give the ball away. But overall, this is, if this is going to be bad, then God knows what they've suffered in the childhood, because this is as good as it gets. 5-0. Vardy's back. I mean, I write him off at my peril, because every time I do that, he comes back and gets some more goals. I mean, he's like the joyous old bloody bunny, isn't he? He just keeps going on and on and on. I don't know about you, Kate, but for me, this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, this is as good as it gets, and we can't have everything. You can't have exciting attacking football and necessarily be in this position, because it just leaves you exposed at the back. That's the Kevin Keegan style of football, which for every neutral is a dream to watch. But when you're a fan of your team and they play like that, they'll leave themselves exposed. It's not sensible, and that's not the aim of the game, is it? I do agree there's frustration sometimes around the back. We've messed about at the back, particularly in the last half dozen games. I think we've had some sort of moments from Mads where he's put the defence under unnecessary pressure and everyone's just screaming, just kick it out, just get it out. But yeah, it doesn't get any better than this. And I tried to say that on Twitter a bit last week and be fair about it. You'd think the world was collapsing. You think it was 15-16 and Kante was leaving, the way that people reacted to not getting Sensi. But I just tried to say and be fair that we don't know anything about the guy in reality. And some of the comments were, I bet you were the same kind of person that clapped us off at the end of last season. I mean, that's just a complete overreaction. It's insane. And we are top of the league comfortably. There's 16 games to go and we're 3 games clear of points. So there's actually only 13 games to go. The countdown is almost on for us in terms of promotion. So we need to get a firm grip of ourselves. Nothing's perfect. It never will be. And I want Enzo to carry on being our manager and playing the football that makes us win. I
don't think Enzo would have left. I mean, you need a thicker skin than that to be a football manager. And I think he was probably just venting his frustration. I did a thing for the BBC, for the website, bbc.com/LCFC, about the transfer window. And I wrote back in January, look, if we don't sign anybody, I'm not bothered, because we've done so many signings in the summer, and we've got probably 6 players there that can fill that Cassidy role. Was he as good as everybody seemed to be? Is he making us weaker because he's gone back? No, the first thing they did when he went back to Chelsea was be part of the side that got stuffed 4-1 or 4-0 by Liverpool. I don't think we needed him. And to be honest with you, why risk it? And then we get promoted by 10 points, and we get 15 points deducted for breaking FFP or profit and sustainability, whatever they're calling the damn thing these days. And we're not. Or we start, as you said to me the other day, we start next season, 15 points or 10 points down. It's stupid. January is a bad window anyway, because, you're not buying because you want to. You're either buying because you're injured. It's like the sale, last day of the sale, January transfer window. Or what can I get? Do I really need that? No, but it's in the sale. Maybe we should get it anyway. So I don't think we needed him, and he's a bit of a sick note anyway. Looking at it,
yeah. If we signed him, let's say, and we got him, and he gets injured, everyone screams that we shouldn't have signed him and it was a waste of money. And why did we do it and not go out for someone else? So some people you just can't ever please. Kate, I want to ask you this first because you go to a lot of the games. You guys both say, and Chris, I know you get frustrated a lot, particularly when you see Mads Hermansen, which is clearly, in my opinion, well drilled in how we play, and I enjoy it when it works. But when you see Mads Hermansen pass, to Weeks or Vestergaard, usually Weeks under heavy pressure of 2 men on, when it works, right, which is very incredible of Winks as well, to be able to play under the pressure that he does, particularly those passes out from the back. Kate, I ask you this. When it works, it's all about what everyone's doing off the ball and creating space, and it is very high risk but high reward football. What does it look like being there? Because for me, what works so much about this Enzo system and why personally I'm not frustrated and I quite enjoy it is because it's about the work that I see everyone's doing off the ball. It's like you can see that everyone's drilled this move. It looks like they training drills sometimes when it works, and you can see everyone working off the ball to be able to make it create space, and that's a huge difference for me in playing this position style football under Enzo than Rodgers.
Yeah, the work rate's much higher under Enzo than it was Rodgers. Rodgers clearly wasn't getting enough out of the team. We spoke about that before, and fitness levels reflected it, I think. But in terms of what you said, yeah, I don't mind that style of play at all. But I would say it's probably as high as 1 in every 10 situations that it shouldn't be done. Because whilst our off the ball work is good and orchestrated and rehearsed, the opposition, particularly in the first half hour of games when they're fresh, also press. And particularly that pass back to the D, which is usually Wink, it's sometimes Hamza, it's sometimes Ricky P. It's a very, very high risk pass. I don't mind the wides because the flanks, if you muck it up, the flanks can cope with it. There's a lot more work to do. But 1 in 10, I would say, which is quite a high percentage, it shouldn't, that pass isn't on, and he still makes it. So it's just learning to know as and when to do that, and knowing when the team, the opposition are pressing, and you can hear everybody just go, oh my God. Like, everybody else can see that it's not on, but he makes the pass anyway. It's just kind of that Einstein thing, isn't it? Where you keep trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results, even though the pass isn't on, mate, the pass isn't on. Like, think somewhere else. So I like the style of play. It can be boring sometimes, I get it, but I don't, that's not a negative for me. That's football. It can go like that. You can have 0-0s, you can have end-to-end 0-0s. But I just think Mads has got to do better at reducing that 1 in 10 down to 1 in 50 or something like that, because I didn't see those errors from Stolicic the other week in the cup. He didn't seem to be doing that as much.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, would you agree? I think Stolicic, great shot stopper, and I think that he didn't do that as much as Mads, but also I think that him on the ball is not as good as Mads, in my opinion. I also think with Mads, Kate, going back to what you're saying about, we all can see it, but how many times have you seen him do one of those passes and you think, shit, you should make that, but it works? Do you know what I mean? It's like, but I 100% agree with you, by the way. Chris, I know, doesn't like it.
No, it's not that I don't. I mean, I accept it. Okay, at the end of the day, it's not the most exciting football, but, we don't play 4-4-2 that won us the World Cup. Football moves on, and a lot of Leicester fans, I think, have still got in their mind the sort of style of play we played under Claudio, that counter-attacking, exciting football doesn't work these days. That's not how club, and we have to accept that. Now, I will start to watch along thinking, yeah, okay, I'm accepting this. But when you get into it and you're actually, commentating and watching it, you forget all that because you're taken up by the moment, if you like. And in some ways, it's great because I know once, Mads or Vestergaard get the ball, I can relax for a couple of minutes because I know it's going to be Vestergaard Winks, Vestergaard, and I can just sit here and say that for a few minutes. But it's look, it's all new to us as a club, to us as a squad. We are literally however many months it is into this plan, so it's not going to happen. We've got to accept that it's working. With 10 points, whatever it is, 13 points clear at the top. Yes, Mads is frustrating, and like I say, I will go, no pun intended, Mads at Mad during the match because I'm taken up in the moment and like, what the damn well are you doing that for? And but on reflection, I'm looking back at it in the post-match, which is sort of 24 hours later, and thinking, yeah, can see what he's trying to do there. And I just think it's great that we've got two goalkeepers. I mean, if Mads was going to get injured, hopefully he won't, but if he was to get injured, I would have no problem with Jakob coming in and taking over that place for however long. And I think the fact that we've got those two goalkeepers is a good position to be in.
I 100% agree. Kate, this is I've got a couple of questions before I put my predicted starting 11 up, but the first one, who is your preferred choice for our right-hand side high-pressing 8? We're going to go McAteer again? Would you like to see Yunus? Because I'm quite surprised we haven't seen Yunus feature. I thought he was starting to show some improvement, and this is his chance to get a good run out of games. But he went to McAteer, who I've actually been curious about in that position for a while, and then he put on Pratt, who I thought had a much better game. He looked a lot more positive on the ball. He's a bit older, got that experience, good head on his shoulders, and when he's on, he's on. But I don't think it's going to be here next season. So I was thinking that we're going to see Yunus in that position. But personally for you, who would you like to see?
I think it would be Yunus or McAteer. Just because I think we have our steady eddies, if you're assuming that KDH and Harry Winks are playing, and Ricky P as well, who comes into that central position. But it just depends what type of game it is, because obviously Yunus is really small. And he likes to cut inside a bit more. McAteer tends to go the full length of the pitch and go around the byline. So it just, I think that shows how far we've come. I mean, we had one if we were lucky last year in most of the positions. Whereas this year, I think we can change it depending on the opposition. I would like to see loads more of Yunus. I think he's really exciting to watch, and he can really create. And he's really skillful, much more so than McAteer. But I understand what McAteer brings. McAteer covers a large amount of ground. He can take men on. I don't actually know how old Yunus is. I presume he's a bit older than McAteer. And Yunus we've only got for a short amount of time. I don't know what the future would hold for him. But I'd like to make sure we've given him a good go to see if we want to buy him. He's
23, and I believe, I'm pretty sure, Chris, I think it was 25 games, and we had an option to buy. It wasn't an obligation. I think it was different to Fatawi's. I believe if someone...
We're quite a long way off with that then at the minute, aren't we? He's no way near 25.
Which makes me wonder, Chris.
Sure. Yeah. I'm never sure when they say this number of games, there's then the option to buy, because what if he gets injured after 3 games? How can you judge? Is that 25 full games or 25 appearances? So when it's like, we've got to buy, they said this with Lookman, didn't they? Do you remember they always kept saying, like, well, if he plays so many games, we've got to buy him. So that's why Rodgers isn't playing it. Oh, to me, it's a load of small spherical objects. I'm sorry, I get if we get promoted, we've got to buy somebody, and I think we should buy Fatawu whether we get promoted or not. I hate it. We're sinking into one here, but I'm agreeing with Kate again. We just don't have the friction we used to, Kate. Your words, not mine. No, I want to see more of Yunus because he does excite me. That said, I as much as I love Pratt, I've been saying he's got to go at the end of the season because he's a dead weight. He's a sick note, but he's had a couple of good games and scored a few goals. McAteer is obviously one excuse me, in the making. But, McAteer is going to be for the future. Is he as good in the middle as he is on the wings? Blah, blah, blah. It's good to have utility players, but he is 23. Is that young these days? I don't know. But you need somebody there with a bit of experience as well. Look, I don't know the thoughts behind, what Enzo's thinking. He'll probably come to the end of the season, and he said, nothing's going to happen with any of these contract players before the end of the season. But, he may give Pratt an extra one. But for me, I've got to say, let's I'd have Eunice and then alternate McAteer and give the two wingers a rest every now and again.
I agree, mate. Well, look, let's just get into the starting 11 just for Anil because he's going to enjoy this. Before I pull up my starting 11, I just want a quick side note that I thought Nelson has looked better and better every single time we've seen him play. I'm quite optimistic for him. I know Faze took that back role and, that back middle for Vestergaard, who may be injured. I don't think Faze can do that consistently, especially when he takes those big roving runs forward. I think he suits better being played on the right or the left-hand side, most likely the right. But Ben Nelson, if he could develop that, skills on the ball that Vestergaard have, and he has that bit of pace about him, I think that would be absolutely awesome. So, but I think that maybe he got put on just because we're comfortably ahead. I'm not sure. I'm going to pull up my starting 11 here.
I think it was because Vestergaard had a muscular problem.
Yes, it was. But
ahead of Cody.
Yeah, I thought we were comfortably ahead in the games. I thought maybe he'd give the young'un a run. I'm not sure. But here's my starting 11. This could heavily change. Okay, let me just... I don't know if you can see it too well, but I've gone for Mads at the back. Cody if Yannick's not available. Now, JJ looked lively on that right-hand side. He looks much more comfortable on the right-hand side, but Faze doesn't look as comfortable playing both sides, but I could be wrong. Now, you always usually see Ricky P go on the opposite side of JJ, whoever's in that position. I thought Callum Dawes looked really good and offers us a lot more going up forward, especially that left foot, but I think with the rotation of him playing the last few games, we'll see JJ come in. Your Ricky P, Harry Winks, and your back two sixes, and I've gone for Eunice Akgun, for Tawu, who looked like he had a point to prove in that game. He looked absolutely tremendous. Dewsbury Hall, Mavididi. Now up front, I've gone Kate and I's favourite player, Patson Daka. I don't know. I went on a bit of a rant about him the other day. He's a Leicester player. I do want to see him do well, and I'm just you can't argue if he's 2 goals.
I mean, can I just say, looking at that lineup, can I have a pint of whatever you're drinking, please? What? I'm sorry, Luke, but what the hell have you done there?
A little bit experimental.
I agree. Whichever side Faze is on, you got to have Ricardo on the same side. If you're putting him on the left, then yes, you've got to put Ricardo on the left. But why put Faze on the left when he can't play on the left, and you've got Justin, who is, in my opinion, better on the left than the right? Yes, he can play both, but you've weakened both the left and the right for me there.
We have seen Faze play there before. We have seen him swap, and I do agree with you. I
haven't been impressed with him when he's played there before.
But I've been more impressed with JJ personally on the right. I do agree with you, though, mate.
It's about opinions, Luke. It's about opinions. Yours may be wrong, but it is all about opinions. And can I just say, because, I think the rest of Cody, again, what? Are you taking little brown envelopes? How the hell has Cody come in there?
Because if Yannick's injured, the
Yannick's
trainer isn't up on Cody.
Yeah, but if he's injured, we don't know yet, do we?
Yeah, I just thought I would. If I had to pick, if I'm just assuming Yannick's injured, I think Cody gets a start, but it could easily be Ben Nelson, mate, and I could be wrong, and I could just be speaking a load of Aussie bollocks. But
and I've got to say though, for me, Daka up front. Hopefully, we'll give him another. I know his contract doesn't run out, does it, at the end of the season? So hopefully we'll keep him. I think he's coming into his own. Yes, he's not scoring as many as maybe people want, but he's getting in the positions. He's not scoring the screamers, but the idea that you want with your striker is that you want him to get into the position so that if he comes off his backside, he's there, and that's what Daka's doing. But I think we'll probably see Vardy before the end of the game. If not, Vardy starting and Daka or Cannon coming on.
100% I agree, mate. What do you think, Kate?
I do agree with Chris about the back line. So if Vestergaard isn't playing, I think
he talks a lot of sense, that woman.
I personally think he'll bring in Nelson. I just have this feeling he's just been the tried and tested option at the minute. But yeah, I don't think Fass is that great on the left either. So I think Justin will resume that. But I think Doyle might fit in there somewhere, and I think Atgun may be on the bench. That would be my difference. Yeah, that would be my difference there, I think. But yeah, I think I agree with everything else. I think that's how he'll start. I thought Fatawu looked great on Saturday. I went with a couple of Stoke fans, actually, Stoke season ticket holders, and afterwards they were just absolutely praising Fatawu. They couldn't believe that how good our wingers were. I think they'd watched us a bit over the years and couldn't believe how good our wingers were. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So it's just what he does at the back, really, which is always the place where he tinkers the most, I guess, isn't it?
I agree. I told myself I shouldn't have put JJ on that right hand side. It's just that when he came on the side, he looks so dangerous.
We don't know.
It is all opinions. It is all opinions.
JJ can play the right. He can play the right, and if Doyle's on, he may still be on the right.
I think he personally looks better on the right, but it doesn't look good on the left. And I thought because Doyle had a run of games, maybe we'd see this, but I think I'm off the mark with this one. But hopefully they come out and I'm right.
No one knows. You defend your position.
But anyways, nonetheless, I look forward to this game. But Kate and Chris, you guys have been agreeing too much. Chris, ask Kate what she thinks of Daka up front.
He wants us to know some shit.
I was, like I say, talking on a couple of shows. Quite interestingly, I got a Stoke fan asking me to do a post-match review on Stoke. And I'll tell you what, that was fun. Look, I just don't know. I mean, I'm about to put a post out about Jamie Vardy. Like I say, I keep writing him off at my peril. Let's just enjoy the fact that we have got. And, hey, I know it makes my commentary easy. Look, let's just revel in the fact that we've got strikers at the moment that are, in form, and we're not relying on one. When that one gets injured, we struggle. It seems to be whoever's up front at the moment is doing the business. And look, we know it's going to be harder next season if we go up. Of course it is, but. What is wrong? You play the players that are in form, and we've got a game on Tuesday. So I think the 11 that end up on the pitch will not be the same as the 11 that start. And obviously that's the striker is always the one that gets changed. So, but no, I'm just happy that whoever's on is scoring goals, and long may it continue.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm at, really.
I spot on agree. Like I just want the teams to do well. And the last time we played Watford, we beat them 2-0. I'm just looking at the last 4 games here. I think it was just yesterday. They lost in the FA Cup against Southampton 3-0. Lost to Cardiff 1-0. Drew with Sheffield 0-0, and then drew with Southampton. So very patchy form. I know football's not played on paper, but this is a favourable match for us. And then we have Sheffield Wednesday. So I'm hoping we can keep continuing to separate ourselves from the playoff positions and march on home back to the promised land of the Premier League. And VAR, oh God, how I miss it.
I mean, it's like you miss Piles, and they're a pain in the arse as well, aren't they? You know what I mean? Come on.
I'd rather have Daka on for 90 minutes every game than have VAR.
Have Piles.
True story. Not have Piles. Yeah, man, I've not missed it at all. All the drama, and every week there's something. Then there are people
And they're
that
changing it, aren't they? They're talking about changing it today.
I've not seen that, but yeah, no one can keep up. I like simple. Football's a simple game, so just keep it simple, and then we all
Fair
know where.
play. Well, before we wrap this up, guys, you going for a score prediction, Chris? I'll grab yours.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, like I say, when I was talking to the guy from Don't Scratch Your Eyes earlier, he actually went for exactly the same scoreline as me, exactly the same way round, which was a 3-0 Leicester win. The Watford fans are not happy at the moment. I mean, the manager's been there since May, which is like gold watch territory for Watford, isn't it? But they're feeling depressed. I almost feel like Gavin Lineker should send the £10 back to Elton John to try and keep the club going. There's a lot apparently going on behind the scenes. But yeah, for me, they can't see themselves scoring. So that's good news for us. I've gone 3-0.
Ooh, yeah, I heard they didn't make any signings. Kate, what have you gone for?
I don't know now. I never know these things because I just didn't expect 5 on Saturday.
No.
It could have been more on Saturday. I will go for 3-1.
3-1.
Ooh.
Big gas.
That's because you've got FaZe on the left and Cody in the middle. So that's why.
It's an absolute nightmare at the back. It's definitely got one in it. They might even score first.
Luke, what about you?
Enzo's football's rubbish. Make me manager. I'll get us relegated again.
But it is exciting that, as much as the signing things does make people impatient and it's an agitated period with the transfer window being open, it always makes everybody a bit anxious and a bit wary. Like, it's brilliant that we've been able to bring through the likes of Nelson because it's just it's a new signing in itself. And Daka I know I call him, but Daka's been a bit of a new signing this season for us. We've finally got him off the mark and scored some goals, and Vestergaard has. Ndidi has done a 180 on what we're used to on him. So there's so much to be thankful for, and I do genuinely believe we're only part way through the project, and the summer could be really exciting if we get Enzo's type of player in the summer with the half dozen that we're able to let go. We may re-sign some of them, who knows, but it'd be such an exciting time for us. I know a lot of people think that we can't play this style of football in the Prem, but a lot of other people do. You've just got to get the personnel right. And this is our second bite at the cherry with it. And hopefully the finances will be observed a bit better. And we can just kick on and be back where we belong, really, and making a nuisance of ourselves in the Prem.
Alves apparently is close to. Well, he's playing football again, which is nice.
Genuinely thought you said Elvis.
He's in the building, but he's not yet got his boots on.
He's not dead.
He is training the first team squad, and I said this on Ant's channel the other day, and I've heard Al mention it before as well. I know I wear massive blue tinted glasses. I genuinely believe that we could still punch on with the bottom table of the Premier League. Now, we still maintained and kept a lot of Premier League quality from last season. People like the likes of Ricardo Pereira have been able to play further up the pitch, that inverted wing back. These are not easy positions to play, and he's doing it with absolute excellence. Like, he's going under the radar a lot this season, Ricky P. He's been absolutely brilliant. Winks, and I guess we could take a few hidings. There's a lot of times where, we could have been punished, but that's all hypothetical talk in a lot of these games. Yes, it's not the same quality as the Premier League, but we saw early before it even clicked much yet with the Liverpool game. Enzo is going to commit to playing the same style of football, and all we can do is play in the league we're in. And what's more important to me is that we are playing it in a league below where we have a chance to let it flourish and develop and give the players confidence. And then if we had stayed in the Premier League, let's say Everton went down, do you think, imagine all the naysayers of Enzo who we have now, imagine if he was in the Premier League, he might not have been given a chance. The players might not have bought into the system because they might have had their souls crushed in a bunch of brutal defeats. So I think it's better that they believe and do what they're doing, because we talked about before with, the difference between Rodgers at the end of his tenure and the possession-based football and passing it back and forth at the back. But it looked like they were playing hot potato. Like no one wanted the ball, no one had confidence. That's why I think the huge difference for me personally is with Enzo, the Enzo ball. People want the ball. They're doing much more off the ball. It's working. That's just my opinion. So I genuinely believe that we could do some damage right now in the Premier League, the bottom half at least. And I'm still feeling confident that if we were proactive in the last summer window, we got people in fast, early. We got Mads and Castagna and Barnes out. If it is an FFP issue, let's remind ourselves that if we don't re-sign Vestergaard, Kelechi, Pratt, there is a lot of people still going out to make room. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom with transfers.
No, me neither. I don't think so. I think Enzo's been able, if you think of like the likes of Ricky P in particular, you mentioned there, his attitude on the pitch is so different to what we've seen of him in the past. And he's been brilliant in the past, but he really takes the captaincy quite seriously. And he's probably the most regular captain, isn't he? But when you think about the other players we've got Vestergaard, Winks, KDH, they are all potential captains. And that's kind of how it felt a bit in the 15-16 season. You know, that the likes of Fuchs and Vardy and people like that could have been captain. He's kind of making those generals on the pitch, which is part of the key to a team's success. It's got to be a team effort. And if you don't all give a shit, you've got one person that's not in that frame of mind, you may as well write it off. And we had a bit of that last year. So he's just got that engagement that we've spoken about, and which creates belief, doesn't it, in the project.
I spot on agree. I think he should be given it permanently already, because we always see him week in, week out most weeks anyway. He should just stick with one person, and I think he deserves it. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, having said that, you know, Vardy comes on, he gets the armband, doesn't he? And let's be honest with you, what does a captain really do on a football pitch? You know, it's not like a captain on a cricket field, is it? Where he's, you know, having to use his strategy and put players everywhere. It's as much, it's just a name really, you know, for football. So give it to whoever, give it to Jack in the stands. You know what? It won't make any difference because you've got the manager there, you know, shouting anyway. But Ricky is as good as anybody, and I wouldn't have any problems with him being the permanent captain.
Fair play. Well,
he's still in contract in the summer, isn't he?
I think so. I think he's got another year on the end, hasn't he?
I'm pretty sure both him and JJ extended their contracts last season, or just one before that. Yeah, I think so. They've both done around the same time, and I think they've actually got him down for a couple of years actually. And you were saying earlier, Daka's got one more year as well, Chris. It's Kelechi that's out of contract at the end of the season. Daka was signed for 3 years, so he's got 1 year left after this one.
He's in the final in Afghan, isn't he?
I saw the penalty.
Yeah.
I think for a minute he was like, "Has that gone in?"
I was doing
right in the corner.
I was doing a new intro and getting pictures from sort of things we've won in the past. And I mean, Charity Shield, he won us that with the penalty. So let's not forget Kelechi, bless him.
Bless him. I'll be happy to see him come back, and it'll be interesting to see who Enzo puts his faith in. I'm going to go for a score.
Winner we might have actually on the trot, because we had Mendy last time, didn't we?
We did indeed.
Is he still a free agent?
No, he's gone to. I can't remember where he's gone to, but he's got a club.
He was one I wanted to keep. I thought he was.
I love Pappy.
Yeah.
I liked him too. I thought he should have been used. That's a whole other conversation. He should have been used a lot more last season. It really irritated me. I thought he looked great. That's another one as well. Just before we wrap this up, Sutar's back. Your other love child, Chris.
Excuse
I
me.
should have put him in just to cheer you up. Maybe I wouldn't have asked me what I was drinking.
I don't know. I don't know what he's done wrong. You know, he came from Stoke. He did a fair, he was no worse than anybody else in the Premier League. Stoke, he was the best player. They didn't want him to go. It was almost like they needed the money, they were saying. And when he's played for us, which has only been, I think, 1 league game, 1 cup game, he hasn't done anything wrong. And I think the problem was basically just Cody coming in, the form of Vestergaard, that he's fallen down the pecking order. I mean, fair play to him that he's come out and said that he wants to try and, at the moment, fight for his place. Unfortunately, I think he will go. But when we go up, we're going to need a squad. And if he's happy, I would definitely have him in the squad. But, Enzo we trust, as they say.
Yeah, because we spoke about Vestergaard before, haven't we? And if we get to the Prem, would you want to keep him? And I think we've both said no because of the pace issue, which you just cannot improve no matter how hard you try. So, but the equivalent of that is Suter, who has got more pace. And I think next year there could be a place for him in the squad. And that's maybe what he's waiting for. I mean, you can't deny footballers must have eyes on others' contracts like we do. Like, where can I fit in? Who, is he going to be out of contract in the summer? That's my opportunity to go in. Like, Cody will probably feel the same. Like, it's just a really inconvenient foot injury for him that saw him take a back seat, unfortunately.
The new oh God, what was he called? The guy from Southampton who played one pre-season friendly and was injured.
Bertrand.
Yeah. Bertrand.
Don't mention his name in this channel.
The problem, I think, the thing is, though, you got Nelson coming through, and I think that could be his position. I mean, is he fast? Have you seen him, Kate? Is he fast?
Yeah,
he's a lot faster.
And he's unbelievably mature. The maturity on the ball. And when him and Cody played at the back the other week, you'd have thought Cody was the youngster. He was so calm. He was so sensible, but good, like not cautious or anything. He just slotted in effortlessly, really. I mean, the kid's 19. It was really good to see and exciting to see.
Well, I think that's it, because then Suter becomes a sellable asset that probably, in fairness, Ben Nelson doesn't, because nobody really knows him. So, and that's got to be considered if we're trying to bring money in. Sorry, Luke. I know he's a compatriot.
Suter. Well, it's funny because we've got 3 players playing for the Australian international team, and they're all from Scotland. 3 of them, and they're all from Aberdeen as well, Suter included. But it's he definitely could be a squad player. And he'd probably be a lot happier because don't forget he had one of those relegation clauses, I think, for his wages when he signed for us. So he might be a lot happy to sit on the bench in the Premier League. But I agree with you. But I also think that the reason why Yannick maybe could definitely work as a squad player in the Premier League, do I think he's starting 11? Maybe not. The reason why it works for him on the ball is because he's allowed that little bit extra time because we've got 2 wingers that now track back, unlike Harvey Barnes. But we'll have to wait and see. Guys, I'll wrap this up here. Anything else you want to add before we shoot off?
Nope.
No.
Thanks for having us, Luke.
Yeah, thanks
for coming on. I really appreciate it. All right, 4-0 Leicester. Looking forward to the weekend. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If not, just thank you for watching. I'm more than happy with that. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you later.
Cheers.
See you later.